Alright, welcome everybody to another tutorial video done by MYi. This one here is going to be Grape against TSLRevival. Yeah, so I'm joined here by Grape, shinyA, and Fiery as usual to talk about PvZ. How are you doing today, guys?
Excellent. Looking forward to doing some analytical commentary on this.
Cool. So, we talked a little bit about this game before we started this replay now, and I'm actually super pumped to see this kind of build style that you're going to do here. So give us a brief overview of what the plan is here, and especially, you know, what you're doing here going into the early game. It looks like you're putting a pylon at the front of your base to put down a forge, but if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, this is pretty much just basic, like, most standard PvZ for the last 6 months or so. Forge fast expand for Protoss and like a 3 base or 3 hatch no gas for Zerg. It plays out exactly like that. I go Nexus first, which is the more economical side of PvZ. It's obviously better economy than throwing down a Forge first. And really, the only reason you do that is if he's doing some sort of like early pool. But I scout a standard 14 pool, so I don't really have any worries about that. But basically, my plan, I do a Stargate opening, and just pure Phoenix. I prefer it to Void Rays, or a Void Ray rather, and I just kind of keep them hidden until I have 4, which is kind of the prime number to snipe queens, and I just try my best to catch them by surprise and get ahead sooner than I would with a faster third.
Okay, cool. So your Nexus is going down now. Is there any kind of thing at this point? I mean, you've already seen the timing on his hatchery. You know he wasn't. You've seen the timing on his pool as well. Is there anything now that could catch you by surprise? You're going back into his base now. What exactly are you looking for?
I'm just looking for gas, and making sure like the pool's done. He's building lings, Overlord, all that good stuff. And like like I said, this is completely standard. The only thing surprise-wise is if like 6 slings would pop out and start running towards my base, which is on a map like this not the greatest idea, because like just I throw down my cannon and then another gateway and it's completely walled off. And even with 6 slings there, like they're not going to kill it by the time that cannon finishes, so they just wasted a drone basically. That's really the only, and obviously he doesn't do that, but that's the only thing that would really catch me by surprise at this point. As you can see, I'm going with my scouting probe, just making sure he took that third. Once I scout that, I know that it's completely 110% just going to be standard PvZ from here on out. You know, take his gas at 44 or whatever it is for Zerg and play standard from there.
So if you didn't see that third base, is that kind of a time when you have to not do the build that you wanted to do?
No, if I didn't see that third base, I would definitely send out another probe, like the one that built this cybernetics core. I definitely would have sent it out scouting to verify that the third is there, and like I even do that here with the scouting probe again, just you know, just to make sure that he's making drones and that he's not doing anything cheesy like sending 7 roaches to my base or anything.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, like if I didn't see that third, with that initial scouting probe scout, I would have sent another one out to verify that it was there.
All right, awesome. So what Revival's doing right now is super standard. You know, he's probably going to be taking his gas fairly soon, just like you were saying, at that timing of 44. You, on the other hand, have put down a Stargate now, so just went right into that Stargate right away. So Revival has 2 Overlords in pretty good position to be able to see at some point what's going on. Are you afraid of him seeing what you're doing?
Yes. Like if it definitely, like it's not game ending if he scouts the Stargate, because they can still like hunt Overlords. They can still, you know, sometimes catch a queen out of position and maybe like, yes, I'll take some hull damage on a Phoenix, but he'll still snipe a queen, so it's still worth it for me. Obviously trading a Phoenix for a queen isn't terrible, but it's not ideal. However, that being said, like I have it hidden in a pretty sneaky position. right in the corner of the base, and that's not really a prime scouting location for overlords. Um, so I managed to kill it before he really sees anything, which is fortunate for me that he went more into the top corner of my base than the bottom corner of my base. So, yeah. When my Phoenix don't get scouted like this, it just makes them all more powerful.
Cool. So what do you think about this game so far? This build, Nate?
So far, it's just really standard. When you asked him what he would have done if he didn't see a third, I actually really like Stargate against two base
Yeah,
attacks.
absolutely.
So I mean, yeah, he wouldn't. All he would have done is maybe added a couple more cannons, chronoed out a sentry. But I feel like Stargate is still really really good.
Yeah, it's like because generally if the third isn't there, like at least I'd say 60-70% of the time it's going to be some sort of roach pressure or a baneling bust or something like that. And in that case, like obviously those units can't shoot air, so Void Ray is quite strong in that position.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they were going, Phoenix are actually really good against Hydras too in low numbers.
Yeah.
And not to mention once you get your first Phoenix out, in that case, I'm assuming you would for sure scout with that first Phoenix if they were on two base. So, like, it puts you in such a strong position. Because you know exactly what they're doing. If they're going Muta, you can prepare for it. If they're going any two base build, just Stargate beats it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So it looks like he's probably going to end up seeing your Stargate here with that. Oh, no?
Oh, yeah, that's a good spot, man. It's a good spot.
All those eyes, and the Overseer still doesn't see it.
Yeah. No shit. And like here, it literally goes undetected this whole time, and like he is so unprepared, it's not even funny. And I get. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, this is even so much stronger than even usually when you would go Phoenix, because he didn't add any extra queens for creep spread. He didn't build the queens at all. So like he literally had 3 queens.
Yeah.
And now he has 0 queens.
And like here, I even get a 4th that pops out here. So like this just went so well for me. And then right now, like he's literally making a queen at every single one of his hatcheries right now, just trying to like get back into it. Plus, clicking 4 drones, going to the main.
Yeah, and making him rebuild queens is just as good as killing them, because I mean that's more money he has to put in. It's not like killing units in which they're gonna do damage back, or like them remaking them is gonna potentially do damage. He's literally remaking them just to be where he was beforehand. Like it's not a threat for him. You know what I mean? It's like it's resources that are literally affecting you. So
yeah. And then like here, I'm attempting to take my 3rd, and he does a sneaky little. He kind of baits me in with the Overlord dropping creep, and that's why kind of my minerals are getting a little out of hand. Like right now, I want to be putting down my Nexus, and instead I have to wait for this creep to be gone. So that's not really ideal. But this could have gone a lot worse for me. But honestly, I had pretty good force fields here. I think I only lost a sentry and maybe a stalker, so that could have gone a lot worse.
No, that was awesome, man. So you still have tons of Phoenixes on the map, and this seems to me good too, because now we can't really have any Overlords anywhere. They're all like stacked.
Yeah, exactly. They're all stacked.
Plus,
like
he keeps an eye on. Damn, we keep talking on each other. I was gonna say, plus he keeps full scout. Like he knows exactly what's happening at all stages of the game. There's nothing that Zerg can do about it until he gets out like infestors or hydras like he's getting. But he already, like once he makes his tech known, like he's gonna have to use it to deflect the Phoenix, which makes Grape know what he's doing. So.
And then in turn I can counter what he's doing. So it's it just
like
it's a bad snowball for him. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, look at how the game's gone. Like when he initially throws his Phoenix out, he sees Roach, and he sees Roach as the only tech. So what does he do? Like 3 or 4 Immortals, which is going to keep him safe against any sort of Roach attack that can ever happen. As soon as he goes and sees Hydra, he switches right to Colossus. So he's always going to be the one reacting. And when you open Phoenix, that's the thing, is you get to react to what the Zerg is doing and not the other way around.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, like as good as Hydras or Phoenix are against low numbers, like these are just too many Hydras to fight. And like even with this in this sort of situation with this many Hydras, like he has what 18 Hydras. Like I can't really go in with my Phoenix and really be cost efficient because they'll just get taken down immediately.
At the same time, that he can't really. I mean, attacking. Yeah, I feel like would be a bad choice on his part.
He has a lot of units right now, though.
Yeah, he does have a lot. Like I'm just counting on some Colossus to get out, which finally does. And I mean, I hit decent force fields, although I had 2 Immortals come out in the front, which wasn't ideal. But yeah, I
mean, it went way well for you, way better for you than.
It did. I lost a couple sentries, but other than that, that's pretty much all I lost. And still retaining my Phoenix.
Point, you could engage with Phoenix.
With that, yeah, with that many.
With that, with your full army and Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Phoenixes are still on the map, being annoying too through this whole thing. It's not like after that initial push they're useless. Like.
Yeah, they're still picking up lings, doing whatever they can really.
And even in this case, when he switches over to the Corruptors to counter the Colossus, like, the Phoenix are still gonna fodder for Colossus hits.
Exactly.
So, no, they're never really useless at all. As to oppose if he had gone Infestor, like,
I'd really have
to be
careful.
Are better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look right here, he has to target down the Colossus. It makes him, even if, like, it doesn't seem like it changes much, the fact that he has to target it on some other action that Zerg usually don't have to pay attention to in battle. So I mean,
and what meanwhile, like even though Phoenix don't do that well, like that great of damage against Corruptors, it's still free hits.
Yeah.
And with like 6 or 7 Phoenix, like they're gonna be taking down a Corruptor decently quickly.
And plus, I mean, there also is that chance that Zerg's not even gonna pay attention to it. He's just gonna, 1A through. In which case, your Colossus are gonna live there forever.
Exactly. Yeah. While my Phoenix just soak up all the Corruptor hits.
Yeah, because at that point, like that's what Phoenix are there for. They're almost useless now, as far as harassment and stuff like that. So when they're saving your Colossus, this is just another like benefit to having gotten them in the first place.
Yeah. And then here I kind of missed my +2. Like I got Blink and I thought I started +2, but it turns out I didn't. But I mean I'm pushing with 2 Colossus. Yeah, 2 Colossus and a ton of Stalkers, so.
And this creep spread is like, it's because you got the queens off in the first place. Like, normally if you leave a Zerg alone and it's like a standard PvZ, that creep's gonna be at your 3rd on the right side of you. So like, because I mean, if you're on top of creep right here, it's a completely different story as far as how a battle's gonna go.
Exactly, because those that's why he had to go around that little center bush thing there. Just to stay on creep, and because if he goes off creep on Hydras, like we all know the story of that, it's just bad news. And then here once Blink kicks in, it's just a matter of blinking back weak Stalkers and warping in more.
This is why Zerg stopped going Hydras, because like as the game goes on, Hydras, if you have Hydras as a core part of your army, that means you're not having Infestors, or you're not having Corruptors, and if there's Colossus still on the field, the Hydra's just gonna die. And if you overmix Corruptors, you just stop making Colossus and you just dedicate more to the Blink Stalkers, in which case, that's a lot of resources and supply used up in Corruptors. And then the Hydras aren't gonna do very well against Blink Stalkers efficiency. So like, this is all from opening Phoenix.
Yeah, it's like the tone of the game was controlled right away by Grape. And like, I mean, you were just dictating the flow of the whole thing, so that was really cool to watch.
It flips the PvZ matchup, like, completely. To where almost never, well, Protoss in general never is the one usually that sets the pace because of the lack of scouting at the beginning of the game. Usually we make a choice in the beginning of the game, which is then responded to by our opponent. But when you can open Phoenix, like, it actually completely changes that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, Protoss is the one that gets the counter whatever Zerg is making, and while our units are already like almost probably more cost efficient than Zerg ones are, that just makes it all the better.
Our units are only cost efficient though if we have a good matchup. I mean, obviously Immortals are going to be costing against Roaches, but I mean Immortals are going to suck against Hydras.
Hydras,
so,
right? Hydras are struggling.
And I mean that's the biggest trouble in the PvZ matchup is, you know, like anytime that we're not opening Phoenix, that means we're going to be opening like Colossus or Gateway or something that the Zerg can then counter to.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for doing this this feature. I think that it was really cool. It was an awesome game to watch. So, if anyone has any questions, comments, leave them in the spot below this video, and we will read them and respond. Thanks a lot.